So I'm making this video just as like an update. It is on July 10th, going well, pretty much July 11th. A couple days ago, about 3 days ago, Shinzo Abe, Shinzo Abe, uh, was assassinated. Um, Now, the interesting part of this is that when I looked at this man, because I just heard the article and I was like, oh, well, let's just see who this is. And I look and I'm like, wow, why does that guy look so familiar? And I'm like, holy shit, I'm like, wow, I'm like, that guy looks familiar because I'm pretty sure he was walking through the Ronkonkoma Railroad Station a few months back. So I, I I put two and two together. I'm like, if this is the guy I think it is, let me see if he was even in the U.S. at the time, um, before I make myself look stupid. And I'm like, fucking, I'm like, because everybody, I don't give a fuck who thinks I'm fucking I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So the bottom line is that I look up and I see that he was here. Uh, what was it? January, February, March, April 26th to May 2nd. And I'm saying to myself, that was around about the same timeline that I had in my head. I said, now there was no year attached to the article, which was interesting. And there was another article where he visited the U.S. in April, I think to May, um, which is also interesting, but in like the year like 2018 or 2019 or something like that, or 2020. But the other article, it said that he was the most recent article said that he was in the U.S. on April 26th to May 2nd. So I'm saying to myself, about 2 months back, I was thinking more like a month and a half, but about 2 months back, 2.5 months back, this guy stood right there, and me and that man had a conversation right at those front doors. He was walking past me a few times, and I'm not in the greatest position to, uh, not try to strike up a conversation. But I said in the Instagram videos, I said, like I'm trying to remember the conversation that I had with this man, and the conversation that I had with this man, uh, he asked me, he was very polite. I remember him being polite. I was being polite, but I also had dysentery, and I didn't even realize I had the dysentery at the time, or maybe it was right at the time that I started recognizing that I had the dysentery. Um, but I knew that I wasn't like thinking 100% straight, but I was still being polite, obviously, and he was being polite. And I think I asked him, I'm, in this type of a situation, blah, blah, blah. Uh, I remember him asking me, what do I do for work? Or what, like, or can I work? And in my head, my reply to him was that, because I was pretty fucked up, still from like, dysentery is a fucked up thing. Okay, it can affect you in many different ways because it's many different bacterias attacking your body at the same fucking time. Uh, is from what I understand about it. The bottom line is that and I'm still experiencing. This is 4 months later, and I'm still experiencing because I'm not able to get rid of it the way that I need to, which is literally you just got to bombard yourself with food and keep going to the bathroom and freaking, you just got to freaking flush it basically out of your system, um, as quick as you can, before it causes any more damage. And that's only if, and that's if there's not other shit that's, you know around, other, like, anyway, the fucking point being is that I wasn't in my right head, but I'm sitting there having this conversation with Shinzo Abe right there. And, he's asking me, I remember him saying that I spoke very well. And I do speak very well when my brain is in, um, the right place, not being completely fucking stressed out from with no way to fucking stop any of the dumb little shit that's fucking pissing me off at that point, and even then I still speak pretty freaking well, but it's just or I'm trying to figure out something that's extremely fucking complicated, that's fucking like a ping pong ball bouncing around in there. So and I just remember, and I was just like, nah, I'm not, because I didn't know what this guy was gonna, what I honestly, I really thought he was going to ask me about like a telemarketing job. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that, but he was, that's why I'm saying, it's like he stood right there having a conversation with me. And now all of a sudden, January, February, March, April, May, June, and now July. So another 2.5 months after we bump into each other. So 2.5 months after we bump into each other, all of a sudden he's being assassinated. Now he was supposedly raising an army of people, getting ready if the time came to go up against China. Now you're talking Xi Jinping, and to go up against China. That's a crazy fucking thing to do. God forbid war does break out, and what I'm trying to say is, and I don't think anybody wants war, like on the lower scale of life, but maybe they do. Who the fuck knows? I really don't know anymore. But what I do know is that Shinzo Abe stood right there, and I had a conversation with him, and then 2.5 months later, the ex-prime minister of Japan is now assassinated, and the only thing I could think of, and I'm saying, is because he kept walking past me that day. I remember him walking past, and then it was just like I have to ask, and explain, like I'm in a bad spot. So the bottom line is that, it's just interesting that, this man has a conversation with me, and I'm not saying that this has anything to do with it, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, he it's 2.5 months later, and this is back over in Japan. But, I mean, I am the kid that taught the federal government how to make uranium, and that's amongst a couple other things. So, what I'm saying is that it's interesting that this man and me had a conversation. That's pretty much it. I mean, the rappers that all fucking passed away, like that was completely, seemingly a different fucking storyline. Like every single one of them, like from Triple X to fucking Pop Smoke, which is like the two main people that seemingly reached out after I put up the white flag and said enough. You know what I'm saying? Enough. Just somebody reach out to me. I know how to make fucking music, this, that. And I mean, Triple X seemed to be the first person to reach out, and he also seemed to be the first fucking person dead 24 hours later. Not even 24 hours later. And anybody can sit there and make the fucking argument, well, how did he get from fucking New York, re-dye his fucking hair, and get to Florida and be at a fucking motorcycle? I don't give a fuck. The man fucking bumped into me. The kid bumped into me up at a store, totally calculated, fucking, and then next thing you know, fucking up in New York, in Mastic, and then fucking all of a sudden he's in Florida and he gets shot dead. And as far as Pop Smoke, that was the third time I bumped into Pop Smoke the day before. The third time that I bumped into Pop Smoke was the day before I go to jail for fighting my brother. because my brother's a fucking cunt, and I know he doesn't like that, so he's a fucking cunt. So fucking the bottom line is that, and then I go to jail, and then 2 months down that road, all of a sudden, Pop Smoke is getting fucking shot. Right after dropping a song with fucking Travis Scott, you know what I'm saying? Like, give me a fucking break. Uh, Yo, man, right? I'm sitting. It's not like I didn't bump into Pop Smoke twice before that. And now all of a sudden, so it's not just fucking rappers. It's in my head, the way that I see it is that all of a sudden, fucking just like this, now it's a Japanese prime minister. I'm just wondering if these people are fucking, it's like not in the same fucking category, but it's definitely interesting that, seemingly people that you can make the argument all you want that Shinzo, if this was him, which I'm freaking positive it was him, is having a conversation with me. I mean, he was walking past me enough that I was just like, well, let me see what this guy is about. You know what I'm saying? Say hello. You know what I mean? And I remember that he was one of the only people that brought up a job to me. But when he brought up the job to me, it was like, oh man, this guy's gonna ask me like, oh, I was thinking maybe he owns a company. He wants me to be a telemarketer. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're good with talking to people. It's like, yeah, I am. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna fucking work for like less than what I'm worth. And not to mention, I had dysentery, and I didn't want to continue the conversation if it got out of fucking, out of character from there, you know what I'm saying? Because I am just not in the mood to fucking deal with people's bullshit. Um, so between all the fucking rappers that seemingly fucking died right after fucking bumping into me with almost direct contact. You could direct contact for Triple X, right? But fucking as far as Pop Smoke, there couldn't have been any more direct contact because the next day I went to fucking jail for fighting my brother. Meanwhile, I'm fucking locked up inside of the fucking jail with fucking supposedly all these fucking people call. And I'm like, wow, man. I'm like, oh wow, what the fuck is Kodak Black doing in here, bro? He's not even listed in the same fucking jail as I was in. How the fuck was he in the same fucking pod? And then why didn't he just say, yo man, fucking say something, bro? That's what I mean. It's like all these dudes are fucking dead, and then and now on top of that, fucking 2 months ago, I'm having a conversation with freaking the guy that was the prime minister of Japan that was just fucking assassinated. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here with the bullshit. I'm so sick of people's bullshit. And their fucking bullshit. Take their bullshit somewhere else, because fucking this is not a fucking game. The man was freaking being nice over here. I just thought he was going to end up freaking offering me a telemarketing job. Like, yeah, okay, the kid who taught the federal government how to fucking make uranium fucking working as a fucking telemarketer? Bullshit, dog. So I just fucking walked away from the man. But now the man's assassinated. So now I'm sitting here saying to myself, was he assassinated because that probably was about to fucking happen if he was raising a fucking army to possibly go up against war with China. But I'm saying to myself, or was it because fucking he bumped into me? So weird fucking coincidence. I honestly think of it the opposite way. I think it's just because, he was who he was, and he was in a position where that was and I think it had almost nothing to do with me. I just find it weirdly odd as a coincidence that I remembered this man standing right there having the conversation with me. Moving on from that topic, let's bring up the topic of one of the only people I can get on the phone, right? So, out of all the ex-girlfriends I've had, celebrities, this, that, with kids and all this other shit, blah, 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 And then all my normal girlfriends that fucking, seemingly I can't get almost any of them on the fucking phone. I can get this one girl on the phone. So we start talking, right, through the phone. And I'm still trying to tell her 3 years later, like, hey, that ex-boyfriend of yours, blah, blah, blah. I just got to tell you. And this is the interesting part is I'm trying to tell her at the point in time, 3 years now, that he was my half brother. And the bottom line to the fucking fact that, that fucking, for the past 3 years, I've been trying to tell this girl, like, hey, look, that ex-boyfriend of yours, that, that there's a good chance that is my half brother, And not even, she wasn't even a girlfriend. She was a freaking, it got me wondering after what she says next in the text messages. So she turns around and says that fucking after me and her were texting, at one point, fucking in the conversation, fucking supposedly her ex-boyfriend raped her, right? And this is only a few days back, so this is all in my head on top of the whole fucking Shinzo Abbey thing. Fucking So anyway, the bottom line is that I'm sitting here saying to myself, like, you know, it's so interesting that, in the middle of me having a conversation with her, she tells me, she's like, Anthony, blah, blah, blah. It's like the reason I didn't tell you, she's like, 2 nights ago, my ex-boyfriend raped me. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, here we go. I'm like, fuck it. I'm thinking in my fucking head, I'm like, wow, how fucked up is this? And I'm thinking in my fucking head, like, okay, maybe it's not the one that I'm thinking of. So I start to, and she's telling me, he did this and then he did that. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, wow, that's pretty fucked up. And, and then I'm like, well, what about, and she's like, well, can you do something about it? Can you do something about it? And I'm sitting there thinking in my fucking head, like, wow, what type of fucking trap is this bullshit? So I'm sitting there, and the minute she said that, I turn around to her and I said, fucking, I'm like, well, what about your ex-boyfriend? Right? And then I specifically named Bobby, and she's like, that's the one who did it to me. I'm like, wow. I'm like, and then I tried telling her at that point, I'm like, it's really funny that over the past 3 fucking years, every single fucking time I tried to tell this girl that fucking was my fucking possibility, good possibility, because I was told directly to my face twice, that he was my half brother. Every single time that I tried to tell her that over the past 3 fucking years, the phone cut out, the phone shut down, the phone fucking would get staticky and then lose signal. Every single fucking time. You want to know something? And other than the fact that fucking for like a year, I couldn't even get her on the goddamn phone. And every single time that all that shit happened, she'd call me back and fucking, like an hour later, and I didn't know what happened, why the phone shut down, or what, that was weird. And I'm like, yeah, that was fucking weird, blah, blah, blah. But for 3 fucking years, this goes on where I'm trying to tell her that might be my half brother. And then all of a sudden, I'm texting her in a freaking, in a message, and she tells me all this shit, and I'm like, wow. And now she doesn't even fucking believe me at this fucking point that it might be my fucking half brother. I'm just like, fucking, where do I win? Fuck this bullshit. I got a $2 million to $20 million fucking rough diamond in my pocket. Fuck you all. I hate you all. Fuck you all. All right? Seriously. And Shinzo Abbey, he was probably going to get assassinated either fucking way. But I do remember the man because he stood right fucking there when I had a conversation with him about 2.5 months ago. And when I looked into it, that all freaking lined up to be exactly what I thought, was that he was definitely in the U.S. I don't know what the fuck he was doing out here, but by any chance, maybe he was just freaking wanting to meet me, because it was a real interesting scenario where the man kept walking right past me, like, multiple times until I literally had a small conversation with him. It just really sucks that I was freaking, going through dysentery heavily at the point in time of the conversation. other than that, this other little asshole's going to fucking trial in like a few days. They keep pushing it back. And, I'm sitting here saying to my fucking self, like, fuck him too, and fuck whatever the fuck scenario that is. Um, it's like, wow, man. Wow, man. What else? What else? Yeah, it's interesting how it keeps getting fucking pushed back, but at least it didn't get fucking pushed back a year like they were fucking trying to get it fucking pushed back. Because this shit's about to fucking hit the fan with that too. So I'm thinking I'm gonna be fucking shot dead pretty fucking soon, or fucking or you know, because this is fucking insane. This is fucking insane. Yeah. Yeah, protective custody. Oh, I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. Let my name not be in those fucking documents. I swear to fucking God, it's going to fucking. I'm going to war at that fucking point. Put me through this bullshit and fucking every other fucking thing that went fucking wrong and throughout my entire fuck this bullshit. Where's my goddamn bank account? You motherfuckers. That's it. That's it. So I'm not alone, by the way. There's people standing all around. I'm just talking about classified shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just like, fuck the government. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, fuck yous. You know what I mean? I fucking don't really have very much time to myself at all. It's worse than fucking having kids, honestly. And I'm sleeping on the fucking train, so my legs are swollen like fucking tree trunks. I'm sure my fucking feet I'm trying to keep my feet from fucking smelling like putrid, fucking, like that smell like roadkill and fucking like when it's like semi-fresh but it's been baking in the sun, you know what I'm saying? That type of shit. What else? Fucking, no, and I still got fucking dysentery. I'm still trying to get rid of that. But, that means that I gotta keep fucking constantly putting food in my body, and that's a little hard to do when they're fucking with my SSI and my SST and my food stamps. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, I'm trying to keep as clean as fucking humanly possible, not doing drugs, you know what I'm saying? So that they can't fucking sit there and be like, oh, he's a drug addict, But meanwhile, fucking they did try to kill me 2 weeks ago with a fucking lace cigarette that had my fucking heart beating out of my fucking chest for 2 weeks fucking straight. Not 2 weeks straight, 2 fucking days straight. Fucking couldn't even fucking talk for almost 4 days. That was like, I was like, what the fuck was in this fucking thing, man? Wow, dude. Wow, dude. Wow, dude. I just find it interesting that all this shit, and like I said, the Shinzo Abe thing is not that's not that to me. I don't I you know what I mean. I know that the man was an important man. I know that I'm a fucking important person. So it's just interesting, and I look, man. They were thinking about making me the head of the fucking CIA before I was out of fucking elementary school for that fucking whole teaching them how to make uranium thing. So trust me when I say, like, fucking, I don't know if that's the reason fucking he was just assassinated, or fucking the fact that he was building a fucking army to possibly, if needed, go up against fucking China. I don't know, man. Maybe it was a combination of the two. Maybe they fucking seen him talking to me and fucking said, maybe he really is trying to recruit people to fucking teach other fucking people. I don't know. I don't know. But I do know that fucking I had a conversation with the man right there. So that's that. I thought he was offering me a telemarketing job. I was not about to fucking downgrade myself any more in fucking life than I've already been. So fuck that bullshit. This is what I mean about not speaking well, because once I get fucking distracted from the fact that I'm talking about the most important shit on fucking planet Earth, and I really don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. I start cursing a whole fucking lot because I just can't fucking stomach anybody at this fucking point in time in human history, in my fucking human history. What else? Yeah, so this guy's fucking court date to start trial has been pushed off for another fucking couple more days. So from now, so about a week from now, this motherfucking guy is about to go to fucking court. So this whole thing's about to start, and I don't know what point in the fucking trial, if there's any fucking paperwork that is sealed, where my name could fucking pop out. So that's where that's at. Um, and that's about it. I don't think there's anything else that I could freaking update at this point in time. Uh, it's been fucked up. This whole thing's been fucked up. That's all I gotta say.